This week on Checkpoint.
92.
They attend school 90 in a class, while their new school, which has already cost millions, stands empty and incomplete 4 years after construction began.
There are so many delays in paying those invoices that sometimes contractors then abandon sites. So now you find a project just left alone, creates delays. Now you have to start a whole new tender process.
Who should be held accountable? This is Checkpoint, and I'm in Nkepile Mabuse. One year and 6 months. That was the time frame that the Department of Education in the Northwest set for the building of Tlhabologang Primary School near the town of Coligny. 4 years later, with more than 50 million rand already spent, contractors have abandoned the project. And despite repeated promises that construction will be completed soon, the school remains unfinished. Checkpoint Sungani Phiri and cameraman Ashley Market investigate. It remains one of the most divided towns in South Africa, where this railway line still serves as a physical colour bar. Black residents live north of it and whites to its south. Basic services remain disproportionately allocated. Coligny town, with a population of 2,000, mostly white citizens, has this primary school accommodating no more than 30 pupils per class. Tlhabologang, with a population of over 15,000, has 2 primary schools in one. From the outside, Matlape looks like an ordinary township school. But inside, classrooms are bursting at the seams, with pupils exceeding 90 per class.
92.
This is just one of many classrooms that have more than double the number of learners considered acceptable by the Education Department's own norms and standards. But teaching and learning must continue. This teacher, whose identity we've agreed to protect, says she's struggling to cope.
It's not possible to manage the numbers. In fact, even to reach all learners present on a daily basis. In some situations, you can't even notice when one is absent because it's so crowded. You have to stand at the door most of the time. So it's not easy to really teach fruitfully in that situation. It's not easy at all.
25-year-old Lina Mokotu experiences the consequences of the overcrowding through her nephew Ungabetsi. The 14-year-old attends class with 90 other pupils. Lina says she started noticing that her nephew was struggling when he was in grade 3. It was the first time he'd failed a grade. Sadly, it wasn't the last. He's gone on to fail 5 more times. This happened again in 2018 when Ungabetsi received his final grade 6 report. It read,
"Do better next year. Enjoy your holidays and Merry Christmas. Progress because of years in grade."
Ungabetsi is now in grade 7, but the last time he passed the year was in grade 2. Reading his reports is heartbreaking for Lina.
This year, like mo badisa ke a tsele sengwe le sengwe serious ya tlogole go tlhola tshameka like mo badisa tlogole go lla.
Pupils like Unkabezi are being failed by the system, say teachers. Those who spoke to us say it's hard to identify and assist struggling learners. The work environment is simply not conducive.
Well, you can only ask them to come to you later, because in the classroom it's not possible to go desk by desk checking the quality of your work. So you end up asking them that, look, if you have a problem, then you can come to me maybe at break or after school.
And it's not just the pupils who are negatively affected by the overcrowding.
Most teachers, I would say, they don't enjoy their work. You wake up, you just go and do what you have to do, and you come back. We are not motivated.
Wesley Kinaope grew up in Tlhabologang. He, like many other residents living in the township, attended Tlhabologang Primary. He says even though there are 2 other primary schools in Coligny, many families cannot afford to send their children there. The gap between rich and poor, black and white, is just not closing.
People of here are depending mostly on issues of grants and so on. That is why in most of them, they prefer that they cannot take the kids maybe to town because of the issues of transport and so on. So maybe it's a matter of accessibility and affordability that makes people to prefer the school.
Wesley serves as a member of the school governing body at Tlhabologang, a task he says he took on to ensure that every child in his town gets a decent education. But the issues at Tlhabologang have him at his wit's end. Having identified the desperate need, in 2014, the Department of Education in the Northwest promised to build a new school, Tlhabologang. The project was to be completed in 18 months. 4 years later, the school remains unfinished. In that time, more children enrolled at Tlhabologang, hoping to be transferred to the new school. There are now almost 3,000 pupils at Tlhabologang.
Now, when you make a target for learners, you already say no, because this school is going away, then rockets are palo ya bana mo go rona. That is why re end up telling gore re na le overcrowding e ngata mo. And what do? We have shared classes with the other school.
Failure to deliver a new school on time has resulted in up to 4 pupils having to share one desk. In 2018, when parents complained about the overcrowding, the department offered these mobile classrooms as relief, years post the project deadline.
Some community members made sure that they bring the MEC to our location so that he can come and answer. He came with the entire team of him, directors and so on. And after that, they brought these mobile classes, about 4 of them. But with understanding that this year those people will be not those people, the other school will be accommodated to their new buildings. But it's February now, it's March now. We don't know what's happening.
When we return, contractors take legal action.
We've engaged lawyers. We have communicated with IDT and the Department of Education, but also to no response from the department or anybody.